Alright, so this video is going to be much shorter than my original content, but speaking of that content, I should have a rebuild out later, so be on the lookout for that for sure. But today's video is going to be me showing you guys how to get a roster with like the 2021 draft class, with all those guys in the background right there, Justin Fields, Zaven Collins, all of them, right? I've been asked a lot recently in my recent rebuilds, like how I got a roster that is that updated with like all these rookies and also with all of the offseason like acquisitions with Kenny Galladay, you know, on the Giants, Carson Wentz on the Colts, all that good stuff. I've also been asked which specific roster I've been using, so I figured why not answer all those questions in just one concise video. A few things I need to point out: I am currently on the PS5. The process to get a new roster is going to be the same regardless of the console you're on, but the specific roster that I use for my rebuilds probably is not available on Xbox, unless that person decided to make one on Xbox as well, but I highly doubt that is the case. It could be, I guess. But yeah, let's just go ahead and show you how to do this. It's very simple. So just from the main screen of the game, I just booted up Madden 21, is like the first thing you see. You go over to settings, then you go to share and manage files. Once you're there, you're greeted with this screen, and then you click download community files. Another thing I definitely need to point out, the community file tab is so glitchy and buggy. It's been this way forever. So like you might not even be able to download one of these. At least if you don't get it the first try, just keep trying over and over again. And if it just continuously doesn't work, I just find myself like resetting the game constantly, and then it eventually will work. So from here, it's just every single file. And you can see what the type of the file is right here. But you can also just sort by roster, which is what we're going to be doing now. This is what I'm talking about it being really buggy. I'm on roster, and for some reason it's still sorted by draft class. Okay, so we finally got it to load just rosters. So the first one here is going to be the most downloaded one, I believe. I don't think it's the most liked. Yeah, it's not the most liked. It's the most downloaded roster. So this one currently is the most downloaded roster. Also, not all of these are going to be just Madden 22 rosters. You definitely have to read the name because this one has Legends. This one has Legends, ESPN, whatever that is, Primes. So if you're just looking for an updated roster with the most recent draft class and all that good stuff, you're going to want to go ahead and read the description and also check out the date. So this was added today. The day I'm recording this roster was added. So this one actually looks pretty solid. It has Tim Tebow on the Jaguars. Eric Fisher is on the Colts. Both of those were announced today, I think. All the numbers are updated, all that good stuff. So that seems like a pretty good roster to use. I might actually go ahead and use that one for future videos. I think I'm actually using this guy's roster, but a different one. I could be completely wrong. And I was wrong. I don't actually say this in the video because I'm stupid, but the roster I was using was the guy beneath him. I think his name's like Unfadable or something like that. Whichever roster was the most updated of his was the one I was using in my most recent rebuilds. But that's exactly how you do this. You just go right to the roster tab, make sure it's an updated roster, make sure it has a good description. You can also check out the like to dislike ratio to tell if it's going to be a solid roster. Like this roster doesn't look very good. I think it's one of the Legends ones. 74 likes, 59 dislikes. Don't know what that's all about, but this one looks solid. 163 likes, 31 dislikes. I would definitely recommend this one. And then if you want to go ahead and download it and load it and all that good stuff, so you're going to go to download file. I already have a file with the same exact name. I'm just going to overwrite this. And then the bar should load. It said download complete, so I think it actually worked, but that's the thing that gets glitchy the most. That normally doesn't work on your first try. But then once you've downloaded it, in order to get it to be like the current roster you're using, you want to go over to load and delete files. And then from there, switch over to roster. I think that's the one I just downloaded, Madden 22. So let's go ahead and load that one successfully. And this should have worked. You can check if it worked really quickly. Like, you don't have to go through and start a franchise. You can just go to settings again, go to manage rosters, and then manage players. And then from here, you can kind of just check out some things. So let's just see Eric Fisher. Let's see if he's on the Colts. Eric Fisher is on the Colts, so we have that roster. That's how you go ahead and get a new roster. It's very simple. But a lot of people have asked me that, so I figured why not make a quick video about it. Also, in case anyone else has that same question. A couple things I should point out about the rosters, though. You cannot change development traits when you make a roster. So this means that all of the new rookies, like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, they have normal development trait. The people making the rosters can't do anything about that. So what I typically do, and I'm sure all you guys already know this in my rebuilds, is I just worry about the players who are on the team I'm rebuilding. So if I were rebuilding the Jags, I would change Trevor Lawrence to have like superstar development, Travis Etienne to have like star development probably, and then just worry about the players on my team. The other players in the league will progress pretty naturally anyway. But every once in a while, when you get to like year 4 or whatever, like year 3, sometimes you see like Devontae Smith in free agency for no reason, and he's like a 78. Like he didn't really progress well at all. There's not really a workaround to that. You'd have to do a lot of work for each rebuild or each franchise you did in order to get every development trait to be what you want it to be. You can go ahead and do that if you'd like, but it would take you a long time. Another thing is that I don't think you can change contracts, because every single time I load a roster like this and I check out the rookie contracts, they're all like 2-year contracts. So I don't know if that's just like the default contract you get when you make a player or whatever happens. I don't exactly know. But again, with like the development traits, I usually just go through and change the contracts of the players on my team to make them a valid rookie contract. So there's just a couple disclaimers. Madden's not too great with this whole system, but this is the best we have so far. Now, this is definitely worth pointing out as well. If you want to actually use the roster you downloaded in a franchise, what you're going to do is click franchise. Of course, that's where this is always going to begin. But once this loads, you're going to hit create new league and then use active roster. All right, I was already the commissioner of too many leagues, so hang on. I had to go and delete one. So if you hit use active roster, it's going to import the roster you just downloaded. Not even the one you just downloaded, the one you have currently set to your game. And the one that I currently have set to the game is the one I just downloaded. That was the whole like load the file process, all that good stuff. But anyway, once you're here, you should have the new roster. So like, for example, Kenny Golladay is on the Giants. That's just one quick way of checking because he's one of their better players. So there's that. That's probably a question that somebody has as well. Hopefully this video isn't longer than it needs to be. I'll try to cut it down as much as possible. I tried not to add any extra information that isn't really necessary. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope this helps somebody out there. And potentially be on the lookout for my rebuild later on today.
Where every step you take is do or die. When every